Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to explore complex systems, break them down, and really show you what makes them tick. Today, we're looking at something that seems simple on the surface but has this incredible depth. John Horton Conway's Game of Life, created back in 1970.
Ah, yes. Life. It's a beautiful piece of mathematics, really. And as you said, its beauty lies partly in its simplicity. It's famously a zero-player game.
Zero player, meaning you just set it up and watch.
Exactly. You define the initial pattern, the seed, on this infinite grid, and then its evolution is completely determined by the rules. It runs itself.
So our goal today, our mission if you like, is to figure out how just four simple rules acting locally on this grid can somehow generate such, well, complex and unpredictable behavior, even computationally powerful phenomena.
It's quite the paradox. And understanding Conway's achievement, it helps to look back a bit. The groundwork for these kinds of systems, cellular automata, was laid by people like Stanislaw Ulam and the great John von Neumann.
Right, back in the 40s and 50s at Los Alamos.
Correct. They were thinking about things like crystal growth, even self-replication. Von Neumann had a model for a self-replicating machine, but, well, it was massively complex. Used something like 29 different states for each cell on the grid.
29 states. Wow. So Conway came along and thought, simpler.
Much simpler. His specific goal actually was quite interesting. He wanted a set of rules simple enough to state easily, but complex enough in outcome that it would be genuinely hard to prove whether a pattern could grow indefinitely or not.
Yeah.
He wanted unpredictability from simplicity.
And he boiled it down to just live or dead cells.
Live or dead, on an infinite 2D grid. And each cell only cares about its 8 immediate neighbors. That's it. And then there are just 4 rules that apply to every single cell, all at the same time, tick by tick.
Okay, let's hear them. What are these magic 4 rules?
They're beautifully straightforward. 1, a live cell with fewer than 2 live neighbors dies. Think of it as loneliness or underpopulation.
Okay, dies from loneliness. Got it.
2, a live cell with 2 or 3 live neighbors survives to the next generation. Just the right amount of company.
Stable. Makes sense.
3, a live cell with more than 3 live neighbors dies. That's overpopulation or overcrowding.
Too crowded. Okay, dies off.
And finally 4, a dead cell with exactly 3 live neighbors becomes a live cell. That's reproduction.
Exactly 3. Okay, so underpopulation, survival, overpopulation, and reproduction. That's really it.
That's the entire physics of the life universe. And from that, everything else emerges.
Amazing. Before we dive into what emerges, let's quickly thank our sponsor. This deep dive is brought to you by embersilk.com. If you're looking into AI, whether it's for education or integrating it into your business, embersilk.com is your resource. Check them out.
Right, so you run these rules and patterns start to form. They generally fall into 3 main categories. You get still life patterns, like a simple 2x2 block that just sit there. They never change.
Static.
Then you have oscillators. These change shape over a few steps, but they always return to their starting configuration after a fixed period. The pulsar is a well-known, quite beautiful example. It has a period of 3.
So they blink or pulse, basically.
Precisely. And the third type, maybe the most fascinating initially, are the spaceships. These patterns move across the grid. The most famous is the glider, just 5 cells, but it translates itself diagonally forever, or until it hits something.
A 5-cell spaceship. That's pretty cool. I heard tracking some early patterns was tricky.
Oh, absolutely. Take the Arpentomino. It starts as just 5 cells in an R shape. People watched it thinking it would settle down quickly.
But it didn't.
Not at all. It goes absolutely wild for 1,103 generations. It throws off sparks, creates debris, and eventually settles down into a collection of stable patterns, and crucially, 6 escaping gliders. Took ages to track by hand back then.
Wow, 1,103 steps from just 5 cells. That complexity, it relates to Conway's original challenge, right? The prize.
Exactly. Conway suspected, or perhaps hoped, that no pattern could grow indefinitely. He offered a $50 prize, maybe $400 or so in today's money, to prove or disprove it. Could any pattern just keep growing forever?
And someone claimed it.
Yes, a team led by Bill Gosper at MIT. They discovered the Gosper glider gun. This wasn't just a pattern that grew. It was a stable machine, an oscillator really, that periodically shoots out a new glider.
A glider factory.
Precisely. It produces a new glider every 30 generations. And since gliders move off into infinity, the gun proved that patterns could grow without bound. Indefinite growth was possible. Gosper got the $50.
Okay, so the game can grow forever, but you mentioned computational power earlier. What's the leap from glider guns to computation?
Well, this is where it gets really profound. People realize that gliders, because they move and can interact, could carry information. You could build streams of gliders like wires. You could design collisions between gliders or between gliders and other patterns that act like logic gates. Any gates or gates, not gates.
Wait, you can build logic gates inside the game of life?
Yes. And if you can build logic gates, you can, in principle, build anything a computer can do. This means the game of life is Turing complete.
Okay, let's unpack that. Turing complete means...
It means it's capable of universal computation. Theoretically, any algorithm, any calculation that can be performed by a computer could be simulated within Conway's game of life, using just those 4 simple rules operating on patterns of live and dead cells.
That's staggering. Computation from just 4 rules on a grid.
It really is. It shows computation is more fundamental than silicon chips. It's about rules and organization. And there's a fascinating consequence of this Turing completeness.
Which is?
It means the game of life is undecidable, just like the halting problem for Turing machines. There's no general algorithm that can look at an initial pattern in life and tell you for sure whether, say, a glider gun will eventually form, or if the pattern will die out completely, or anything specific about its far future state.
You can't predict the future.
Not algorithmically, no. The only way to know for sure what happens is to actually run the simulation, step by step, and watch. You have to let the universe unfold.
So let me just recap. We start with 4 incredibly simple local rules. And out pops this system capable of infinite growth, complex behavior, patterns that act like spaceships, and even universal computation, all deterministic, yet fundamentally unpredictable in the long run.
That's the essence of it. It's a prime example of emergence, complexity arising from simplicity. And it leads to some pretty deep philosophical questions.
Like what?
Well, the philosopher Daniel Dennett often uses life as an analogy. He asks, if our own universe is governed by what might be relatively simple physical laws, could incredibly complex things we grapple with, like consciousness, or perhaps even free will, be emergent properties? Could they arise spontaneously from the complex interactions of simple parts, much like the R pentomino eventually stabilizes or the glider gun emerges in life?
So the idea that maybe the most complex things don't need fundamentally complex explanations, just simple rules playing out on a grand scale.
That's the provocative thought, yes. Simple rules, given enough space and time, seem sufficient for boundless complexity and maybe any things we consider uniquely profound.
A fantastic place to leave it. The hidden power of simple rules on an infinite grid. Thank you for diving deep with us today.